The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you were listening to Potsy and Tino on the Potsy and Tino Show.
Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world, the Potsy and Tino Show. We apologize for being a little bit late. That is my fault. I admitted to it, Tino. Our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. And I want to go ahead and thank the United States the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
What's up, Joe?
Not the American Nightmare, or not the United States champion, but we'll get to that. So Tino, you there?
I'm looking at you, Doug.
I don't know. You're like I'm just gonna drink off this. I'm not gonna whatever.
You just said my name, Tino. I heard you. I'm looking at you.
Wow. Okay. The show always starts off with a special subject, and it's called
What's up, what you? Let's see. What else I want to. I played a show last Saturday, which is pretty good. I had a good time. It worried me at first because when I got there, it was me, the two bartenders, the owner, and maybe two people at the bar. But it ended up it was a late crowd, so we had a good time. My good buddy Proton Jones showed up. I hadn't seen him in forever. Yeah, he's another local musician. He calls himself Proton Jones. He's real good. So thanks for him showing up and supporting. And then what else happened? Oh, last night I thought that I had re-injured my knee, and I thought I was going to have surgery. And it's something simple. So it's just like in wrestling. When you do the simplest moves are the moves where you really fuck yourself up and get hurt, right? I was going out into my garage, Rob. I opened the door, went down the steps. The last step, I just stepped down, and I don't know if I stepped down wrong. It's like it jammed. And I could not walk. It felt like it did when I first tore everything. So it freaked me out. I was scared. I'm like, oh, and I couldn't move my knee. I could bend it, but I couldn't straighten it out straight. And so I popped. I said, well, let me try to pop some Advil. So I popped some ibuprofen, try to get the inflammation down and try to keep the swelling down. I woke up this morning and I had Nicole look at it, and she said it was swollen. I'm like, fuck. So I popped 4 more ibuprofen. I just iced it for like an hour and a half, right? And that seemed to help a little bit. And I worked today, and I had to run to the store to get something. Came back, and after I ate lunch, I kind of was in my recliner, and I had my leg just out, and all of a sudden, you ever have something, it hurts but feels good simultaneously? When I tell you I moved I don't know how I moved, and it was the loudest pop I ever heard in my life. And it even scared the dog because she was out here with me, and it popped, and she looked at me like, what the fuck was that? And it was like, ow, oh, and it feels better. I don't know if maybe last night I knocked something out of place, and when it popped, it popped back into place. So but now it's like I'm good. I was like, oh, yeah. My dog was like, are you okay? You gonna make it?
Yeah, so that type of thing actually happens more often than I would like. Like I'll be sitting there and I'll be walking, and all of a sudden, like my right knee will be like, no, we're not.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden it'll be like, and it'll be like, oh, wait, no, we're good now. We're good to go.
Yeah. But it's just like a loud, it's like a pop. And I was like, so I don't know if it was something was popping back into place or what it was, but I'm pretty much that knee. I know part of it. I've had problems with this knee, my left knee. I know I had to get some of the cartilage taken out years and years ago because it was broke off.
Was it the high one? Was it the high one?
High one? What
the high knee?
Shut up. And then and then like I said, I tore the meniscus and
I can't help it. It's
you're
so
the only one
stupid.
that thinks
It's so stupid.
you're the only one that thinks you're funny. That's the thing. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I'm going to count you out now.
Yeah, well, whatever. You look like a damn Brooklyn brawler.
You look like a fucking Brooklyn brawler.
What's up with the ref shirt?
Did I not tell you the story?
You probably did.
I'm the one that drinks.
I don't think you told it on the
air. So all right.
I remember you vaguely saying you were getting a ref shirt, but I couldn't remember why.
I got a referee shirt.
Yeah.
And I felt like where better to wear it than the Potsy and Tino show. So so here's the deal.
Okay.
What's that?
I was saying, why though? Why'd you get it?
So all right. So when I was in Fayetteville for Fayetteville Comic Con, I met the referee for the local wrestling there, right? Okay. And by the way, he also said if we want to start having local wrestlers on our show, let him know because he can hook us up with the actual promoter, and the promoter can get them on the show. So
that'd be pretty cool.
So I was thinking that already is something we're gonna want to do, right? So so you know me though, I've always wanted a referee jersey. Like I've always wanted one. I don't know why, but you know it.
Such a nerd.
Like I've said that if I could go to a wrestling event wearing a referee's jersey, I would fucking do it. You know, like that's just who I am. I always want to be like I'm a super fan.
Yes.
Right. And super fans will sit there and wear their championship belts and do whatever, you know,
yes.
like but I don't own a championship belt.
What? Yeah, why isn't that?
Why don't I own
that? Yeah.
Well, because I feel like I have to defend it.
Okay. Why? Just have it wear to
No. You wear a belt to the event, you got to defend it. That's why I'm the referee now, right? Like so all right.
The times we've gone to the show, I've yet to see anybody defending their belt that they're carrying around.
So you haven't seen when Mick Foley actually at like an event sees someone with a 24/7 championship and he takes the belt from them?
How rare is that, Rob?
I mean, there's videos of it, Tino.
I know, but how rare? How often does that happen? So you're just gonna?
I would think that
Foley
anytime
to jump
Mick
out.
Foley sees somebody with a 24/7 championship, he feels like he needs to do a schoolgirl and roll them up.
Okay.
So anyway, my feelings behind this are pretty simple. I've always wanted a referee's jersey. I always felt that I had two spots possible in the pro wrestling world, right? And you know this, like as we've been doing this show, I can't believe we've been doing this show over 5 years. But as we've been doing this show, our buddy Phil Bates actually sat there and one time said to me, "Potsy, are you ready to be my manager?" Right? Well, then COVID happened like 8 days later. Like it wasn't even like a maybe we'll no. It was like 8 days later COVID happened, and suddenly like my becoming a heel pro wrestling manager was like put on hold.
Right.
And you remember this.
So why didn't it after COVID pick back up though? I meant to ask you that.
Well, I think Phil finally just said, you know, because Phil's our age. You know, like Phil's in his 40s. He's probably like, you know what? All right. Like 38, okay, but 42, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't actually know. Like he reached out to me not too long ago and he actually said that he wanted to talk about New Jack on our show because he actually knew New Jack. And we never really got around to it, but you know, like it's interesting because I know a lot of people that know New Jack. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Well, like my buddy who runs Angry Lemonade actually has the exclusive license to make New Jack merchandise. and all the proceeds to it go to his family.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like these are people I actually know. And then Phil knew New Jack, so of course he's like, I want people to know the actual story of New Jack. I don't want them to see the one that's on Dark Side of the Ring or anything else where New Jack's like, I was gonna fucking kill him, you know, like because he wasn't just the guy that was out there to kill like what's his face, Vic Grimes, you know, like
Mass
he
transit.
Jesus. But how many times you been in the ring, kid? Oh, I've been in the ring a lot of times. All right. Well,
last time in the
I'm
ring.
gonna stab you with a fork, and you see what happens. Oh, okay. Yes, sir. I can take that. I can take that shot. Yeah, okay.
It wasn't a shot. He tried to kill that kid.
Well, that's because the kid wasn't ready to be in a ring with New Jack. But
I don't think a lot of the ECW guys were ready to be in the ring with New Jack.
No. He was a much different guy, but I'm not going to say anything bad about him because
no.
I know people that actually know the family, and obviously Phil knows a New Jack very well. But again, like Phil wanted me to be a heel manager for him, and Tino, I love telling this story because like I've probably told it to you, but I don't know if I've ever told it on the air. But I literally sat there and told Phil, I was like, Phil, I don't mind being your manager, and I can get heat, and I will take bumps, but you can't hit me in the head with a steel chair. And I kept going, this is the moneymaker. You can't hit this. And he'd be like, what about like once, Rob? And I'm no, you can't, you can't hit this. Like this is, and look at me. This is not a moneymaker. You're an asshole. But I'm like, and I was like, this is the moneymaker. You can't, no, none of this. Well, I take one in the back, sure, but like,
you do this, you do this.
Well, I do this, but I was like, no, I'm not getting color. Like I have a day job, no color, like. So, but then COVID happened, and that didn't happen. So I was at Fayetteville Comic-Con just a couple weekends ago, as you know, like 3 weekends ago, and I was selling junior high horrors. I was selling Mandalorian. I was selling Immortal. I was selling X Liefelds, doing all that, and all of a sudden I see a guy walk up wearing a Gold Dust like hoodie. And I'd never seen a Gold Dust hoodie.
I didn't either.
And it looked like the kind of hoodie that was like Gold Dust Gym, right? So it was like a small pressed version of like a Gold Dust hoodie. And I was like, dude, where'd you get that? And he goes, Don't say it too loud or anything, but I'm the referee for the local wrestling here. And then I saw he had the referee jersey underneath the hoodie, right? And I'm like, dude,
why did he come in wearing that hoodie knowing he's gonna get attention? He knew he was gonna get attention for that
only
hoodie.
From people that know pro wrestling. Like he's at a Comic-Con. You don't necessarily you expect some people to mention it, but
okay.
But it's not like when we were at WrestleFest or whatever, and all of a sudden everybody's sitting there going, "Shit, where'd you get that? Like, I need one of them," whatever. But I sit there, I'm talking to him about it, and he's like, I got it from ordering off of this website or whatever, and da da da. Anyways, so he looks up, he sees the sign, he says, "What's the Mandalorian?" So I sit there and I say, it's kind of like if you took the Mandalorian and made him a UPS driver, and he's like, "Dude, that sounds awesome." And we've been sitting there talking for like 5 or 6 hours. I was like, "Here, just take a copy," no big deal, whatever. And he goes, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, yeah, man, like absolutely. Just tell me if you liked it, like whatever. And he goes, we started talking about something, and I noticed he was wearing the referee jersey, right? And I started telling him the story about when Jason and I were in Winston-Salem and we met Earl Hebner. And if you remember, I sat there when I met Earl Hebner, and I was like, is this a referee jersey that you're selling in a bag that you signed? And Earl Hebner was like, no, it's a turnbuckle. And I was like, why the fuck is Earl Hebner selling turnbuckles rather than Earl Hebner selling referee jerseys? Like, this right here, how much do you think Earl Hebner could sell one of these autographed for?
Oh, I'll get $500-$600 easy.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, $100.
Yeah.
Right. And like you get a blank white patch or whatever on it, and then he just signs on the white patch, and that's you buy a referee jersey from Earl Hebner, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, I even think about like Mike Chioda at this point. Like, why isn't he selling referee jerseys that are autographed by him? Makes sense, right?
They make money.
I mean, we're like, I have no idea how much this thing costs because I'm going to tell you how I got it. Okay, but like, we don't know how much they cost, but they can't be $100. And if they were $100. And Earl Hebner wants to sit there and charge $150 because he wants
a referee jersey from Dick's. I would think you get a referee jersey from a sporting goods store.
But you know what I mean, right? Like, yeah. So you're probably right, whatever. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, every time I look for one, I can't find one at my size, can't do this, whatever. So the dude looks at me and his name's Sean, and Sean's super cool. But he's like, tell you what, you say you want a referee jersey? Let me see what I got. And he goes back, and then he comes back over, and he goes, hey, man, I want you to have this. And he brought me the referee jersey.
Nice.
And I'm like, this is the coolest thing that I got this entire convention. Because then, you know how the conversation changed?
What?
The conversation, Tino, changed to this. I said to him, I was like, it'd be cool. Now that you gave me a referee jersey, you take a ref bump, and I come in and I have to make the 3 count. And he goes, dude, I bet I can make that happen. So in October, Tino, because we weren't able to do it at this show, although we probably could have, because Darth Vader chokeslammed somebody using the Force at this show. And I'm not kidding. Like, dude actually sold it because, like, Darth Vader was like this, and the dude in the ring actually took the bump and like literally jumped up and took the bump from it, right?
Wow.
It was pretty cool. They also did this really cool thing. My buddy Sean, who is a local pro wrestler, who I also gave the local invite to come on the show anytime he wants to promote what's going on. And he said, dude, I'll totally do that. So we may start having some visitors on the Potsy and Tino show. But Sean was actually like, they set up this whole little thing where like they were going to put Thor's hammer in the middle of the ring, and the heel's trying to get the hammer and can't pick the hammer up or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like the hero starts to move it, but then he gets hit in the back, and it causes this whole thing. And then a ref bump happens. And like I said, so now in October, when Fayetteville Comic-Con happens again, Potsy's got the referee jersey, so he might have to make the 1, 2, 3 for somebody. Come on, admit it.
That'd be cool.
Admit it. You want to be there for that.
It depends on if I'm playing a gig. If I'm not playing a gig, I'll have to make it out for that. When is it?
I think it's like the 18th and 19th of October. Because the week after that, I think I'm in Kentucky again for for Scarefest. So
October 18th and 19th.
Whatever's that weekend.
Before or after?
When are the weekends there?
There's the 15th and the 22nd.
It might be the 22nd.
Okay.
I'll let you know with plenty of time because Tino, if we can get the Potsy and Tino show involved.
How? I mean, we're podcasts.
If I can get us, well, I'm a referee now, sir. Okay. I'm gonna make that 3 count. Not like Evan Courageous.
Yeah, I was about to say that 3 count one. Evan Courageous and Sugar Shane Helms.
Sugar Shane and Shannon Moore.
Shannon Moore, he was. I can remember who the third one was.
How did you remember Evan Courageous, but you didn't remember Shannon Moore? Shannon Moore actually had a wrestling career.
I know. I don't know why I remember Evan Courageous.
So, Tino, how long have I been writing comic books? Because we're still talking about what's up with us, right? How long have I been writing comics?
As long as I know you.
Yeah, but like recently, 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we figured Junior High Horrors has been out, what, 7?
No, 5.
What did we say? 5? Yeah, so.
5. And in fact, that's what I want to talk about. Is that in July, you have until May 18th to go into your local comic shop and actually order a copy of Junior High Horrors, Strangest Thingies Forever, right? We're gonna have a special edition that comes out just for San Diego Comic-Con in July as well. I'm trying to talk the publisher into doing a metallic cover for it.
That'd be cool.
Because I haven't had a metallic cover, right? So I was like, can we do a metallic? And he's like, well, we'll see if they have metallic paper to do it on and whatever. But so we got that book coming out. And then if you took a look at my Instagram page or my Facebook page just over the past 2 days, you noticed that I was showing off a Junior High Horrors cover of sorts. I'm going to see if I can pull it up real quick so that way I can show everybody. And it's a Nightmare on Elm Street 3 cover. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's for what we're calling the Junior High Horrors Monster-Sized Anniversary Edition. And it's for the 5th anniversary of Junior High Horrors. Joe's probably heard about it a little bit because I've been talking about it on Twitter. But it's going to be a double-sized issue, so 48 pages instead of the normal 24 pages.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to contain the first 2 issues of Junior High Horrors, but remember that Eric, the artist, was only the artist for number 2, right? So Eric went back and actually redrew the entire first issue.
Wow.
Billy went through and colored and lettered the entire first issue in the dyslexia-friendly fonts and everything else. So this will be the first time that Junior High Horrors number 1 and number 2 are actually available in dyslexia-friendly fonts. And this is partly because there's paper shortages and everything else preventing that Amazon book that you ordered a year ago from coming out. But this will allow you to buy the first 2 issues from that edition. Okay? And we'll throw in some bonus materials and everything else because the story is going to be 40 pages. So we have 8 extra pages that we can sit there and give like original artwork from when we originally created the story and everything. Like basically show my designs, show Eric's designs, give a little insight into everything. But it'll be the first time that the book A is in dyslexia-friendly fonts,
mm-hmm.
and B, will also be the first time that the first issue will also have been drawn by Eric. So
Okay.
some pretty cool. So some pretty cool shit, right?
Yeah.
And then so here's where Rob dropped the ball. I dropped the ball, Tino, because I thought I had another week to get the solicitation in for it. I have until Thursday. So I had to reach out to all the people that wanted to do covers for it and say, hey, can you get it in by Thursday? You want to know the worst part about it, Tino?
What's that?
I hadn't started my cover yet. Now you just saw it. Mine is almost done. Like I may add a couple more things to it, but mine wasn't even started. And here's what makes it even funnier. I was asked if I wanted to work on a cover for a book, which is a political satire called Biden's Titans.
Okay.
And I was told, hey, it's going to be Biden's Titans versus Elon Musk. And I said, I'll do it as long as I can draw Elon Musk as the Terminator.
Why?
Why not? I mean, like, if he's the villain, why not make him into a Terminator, right? So, but then I changed it, and he's the Twitternator. And you're shaking your head, but Tino, let me go ahead and show you this cover. And this is an exclusive for the people on the air right now. If I can find it, give me a second. I got it somewhere. Hold on. Here we go.
Wow.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So, and then if anybody wants to see some of these other junior high horrors covers, there's one. There's another one. And if you ever wanted to learn how to draw Frederick, one of the covers is going to be how to draw Frederick. And then Eric actually did come to me saying, hey, I got an idea. I think I got one. And he's putting it together right now, and it's pretty sick. So so interestingly enough, we may have 7 or 8 different covers for the Junior High Horrors Anniversary Edition. The only downside to the book is because it's double sized, is it's going to cost almost twice as much. And that's what worries us, is that people aren't going to want to pay the extra money for the book, but you are going to get your money's worth out of it. And Tino, you know me. Like if I've ever sat there and tried to sell somebody on something, I always try to give you your money's worth. Yeah. Right. And Joe, you met me last year in Kentucky. You know at this point that, like, I don't like selling comic books for $10 a piece or whatever. You've already told me that $10 for a comic book, if it's 48 pages, is well worth it. So chances are it's going to be $10 and it's going to be well worth it. But the other cool thing that I will say right now is that one of the covers that we're planning on doing is the first sketch cover for Junior High Horrors, which means it's a blank cover that you can ask any of your local artists or ask us to sit there and draw for you. Right?
Cool.
And Junior High Horrors has not had one of these. Kind of. Now you're wondering what I mean by kind of, right?
Yeah.
So kind of, because when we did the initial like preview edition that we were giving away at San Diego Comic-Con and selling for like $1 or $2, or I don't even remember what we sold it for. The back cover of it was a sketch cover, so we could sit there and draw on it. So like my buddy Spidey from the softball group actually drew one of the cover, drew like Mikey on there. I drew one of them. I got it signed by the kid that played Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie version of Halloween. So like that's the only time we've ever done anything like that for junior high horror. So we've never actually had it where if somebody wanted me to take a copy of the comic and draw a cover, I've never been able to do it. And if you noticed from Free Comic Book Day this past Saturday, a couple of artists were all sitting there and we all did jam sessions of different things and we all drew them, right? So we've never been able to do that with junior high horrors. So why not, for the anniversary edition, come out with a sketch cover? So, all right. That's all I got with that stuff.
Cool.
You ready to talk about the other stuff? And Joe, I really appreciate you saying that that you'll get it. I do appreciate that more than you know. We'll make sure that there's some stuff out there that you're gonna want for this book, especially being a fan of the title. So,
on my Dadgum Book.
Well, your Dadgum Book is going to be these 2 issues that you can get in the meantime while we wait for the other one to come, because until there's enough paper, Tino,
I've already paid for this book.
You can stop. You haven't paid anything for it. Your Amazon account will be charged when it ships. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Now,
so anyway, how about
it's arriving August 2nd.
No, it's not. It's not.
I know it's not. Well, that's what it says.
But it's not. So let's stop trying to hurt the masses' feelings. And I'll admit that you're part of the masses here. And just say, hey, I talked them into doing the special edition of the first 2 issues. And if it sells well enough, maybe we get all of the issues reprinted in the dyslexia-friendly font. How about that?
All right, cool.
Okay. So, anyway, Tino, I did not watch this.
What's the point of doing this show if you're not going to watch the content?
I can't help it, man. There's too much wrestling. There's too much.
What did you watch?
I didn't watch this, but you might have. So why don't you do it? What was on this?
That was the spring breaking episode where they had all the titles on the. Well, not all the titles. They had the. It was weird because they were trying to, because this was, you got to remember, this is right after they did all the NXT releases. So they're trying to
push storylines that might not be there anymore. So how did Indy Hartwell deal with the fact that Dexter Lumis is no longer there?
That was the weirdest part. So they cut to Indy, bring me the remote. Indy sitting in the locker room, looking at a ring finger. And then what's his name came in.
This is the guy that was with her
best friend.
Yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember his name right now. So Duke. So Duke. So she sees him. She stands up, and Duke just kind of stands there, and he looks at her. He has his hands on his hips, and then he like leaned in like he was going to kiss her. She goes, "There's no way in hell." He goes, "In your dreams," and they walk off. Because if you remember back, they kind of touched on that him and they were together before she got together with Dexter, which made Dexter kind of nervous. I think they're going to put those 2 together somehow, which is going to suck.
So weird.
They had a meeting. It's kind of like the Dom of NXT. What's his face? And Escobar. They're like, hey, we're gonna, try to call a truce because who's really the the boss over NXT, so they called a truce. But they kidnapped God, what is his name?
Rick Steiner.
No, they kidnapped the dominant is NXT, that is the Italian dude. He's so stupid now.
Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah, they kidnapped his little right hand man.
I don't know who that is.
They had Mandy went to the tanning bed, and she was going to lay down there, and she set the timer, and then Wendy Chu snuck in and set the timer for longer. So when Mandy came out, she was all red. And then the other girls from Toxic Attraction came out. We're just going to go to the beach without you. And they left her there. So they go to the beach. So while they're in the beach,
hold on. With that, that's actually very funny.
It is funny. The Wendy Chu stuff is funny. So they left Mandy. So they go to the beach. So Wendy Chu comes with the I keep wanting to call her Roxy, but that's not her name now. She was Roxy and she was
Roxanne,
because she was Roxy in Ring of Honor.
Correct.
So they followed the Toxic Attraction to the beach. They distracted them. They took their car keys and their shoes while they were in the water. And then they were like, hey. So then you got Toxic Attraction trying to run across hot sand barefooted to chase after them. Then they moved the car so they couldn't get it and threw them the car keys. It was just them messing with it. It's comical. Them messing with. So it looks like they're gonna go for the tag team championships now, probably.
Good.
They had, of course, Braun Breaker and Joe Gacy, which Gacy doesn't have the big dude anymore because he got released.
Right.
So at the end of the match, Braun won, and they showed a hooded figure behind him, and then the show went off the air. And I guess through exclusives, the hooded figure jumped Braun, and they had to take Braun out in the ambulance.
They've been doing a lot with these hooded figures.
Yeah. So that was pretty much NXT in a nutshell. It wasn't really. They had the triple threat, which was an excellent match. It was To the Moon, Solo Sikoa, and the A champion. You know what I'm talking about.
I know
that match was actually a good match, and Cameron Grimes pulled it off, and he won. He managed to keep the belt.
Good for him.
Yeah, so that was pretty much the highlights of it.
To the moon.
To the moon. I don't remember too much because I always get Dynamite and Rampage swapped in my mind.
Yeah, I got to be real with you. I don't remember much from that. Now, granted, I'm going to say it's because like I had just gotten back in town and blah, blah, blah. But I tried to watch Dynamite and I just, it's not keeping my interest like it was.
So what's changed about it? While I look it up.
So okay, first of all, like the main event of the next pay-per-view obviously is Hangman Page versus CM Punk, right? Suddenly, Hangman Page sounds like a heel. What the fuck's up with that? Like did they forget that Hangman has been a babyface since he left Kenny Omega?
I think it's because they don't want
in Chicago.
They don't want Punk heel.
But they didn't have to make Hangman heel. I love the Blackpool Combat Club.
Okay.
I love it.
I got the results on it.
Yeah, go ahead. Shoot.
Jeff Hardy beat Bobby Fish, and that was a good match to qualify for the.
I you know what I do remember seeing that match. You're absolutely right. It was a solid match. He ended up winning with he didn't win with the Swanton though.
I think it was a simple roll up because it was a distraction. Something happened. They got a distraction.
Yeah.
The BCC went over against the AFO, the Butcher and the Blade, and Angelico.
The way it should be.
Wardlow defeated W. Morrissey, but they were saying, and W. Morrissey, aka Big Cass.
Yes.
Now, they were saying that, and Big Cass has. I know you don't watch Impact.
No.
Since he left WWF and he cleaned himself up, and he's been in the gym, huh?
WWE who?
Yeah, WWE. So he's cleaned himself up. His promo's better. His work rate is better. And so now they're saying WWE is possibly looking at bringing him back. But he needs to stay with AEW.
So interestingly enough, though, the match was going on, and did you hear the chant going on during the match? The chant.
Enzo.
Well, no. It was "We want Enzo," and there was another chant that was like, "No, we don't."
Yeah.
Did you see we want Enzo. No, we don't.
And did you see him do the Enzo? And
then he was like, yeah. Because he was like, no, this is my time. And then Wardlow did what he always does.
And then let's see, Chris Jericho and Santana. Did you see that match? I
did not. I don't know why I didn't see it, because obviously I saw the William Morrissey, the WM Morrissey match. I assume Chris Jericho won.
He cheated, but yeah, he won.
They did show like going back to the week before when they burned off Eddie Kingston's eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just silly, but go ahead.
I'll tell you another good match of the night was the Ray Phoenix and Dante Martin match.
Yes, but let me ask you something. Who won?
Ray Phoenix.
And so the entire time
he just came back, so they're gonna try to push him.
Hold on. The entire time on the internet, Tony Khan was sitting there saying it's a dream match, right? Saying dream match, Ray Phoenix versus Dante Martin. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you ever saw a dream match that you knew who was going to win?
All the time.
No, you never see a dream like Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels.
Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect.
You don't know who's going to win that.
You know who's going to win that.
No, you don't. WrestleMania 10 ladder match. Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels.
You knew Razor Ramon was going to win that. The way you could tell by the way they build up the
Rock Hogan dream match. You don't know who's going to win.
You knew The Rock was going to win because
Ultimate Warrior versus Hogan, WrestleMania 6. You thought Hogan was going to win. Don't even fucking bullshit me.
I knew the Warrior's going to win.
You're full of crap.
I knew the Warrior's going to win. It's the way they build up. The Rock going in against Hulk Hogan, he got jumped so many times by the NWO. You knew he was going to fucking get his comeuppance.
Dude, Hogan turned that match around and they actually had to play it differently.
Okay. Going into that match, though, you knew The Rock was going to win. Yes, Hogan turned. Yes, they switched. It didn't matter. The Rock still won. I'm going to say I knew The Rock was going to win.
But again, when they say a dream match, dream matches mean that you don't know who's going to win because you have two. Like, okay, prime example. Ready? Rob Van Dam versus Shawn Michaels in their prime. Who wins that match?
Michaels in his prime.
You got to think about it, though. See what I mean? This Ray Phoenix versus Dante Martin bullshit. Like, we all knew that Dante Martin was taking the L. That's not a dream match. I'm sorry. I don't dream of anybody losing a match. I don't dream of it. Chris Barrett, am I right? Michael Turner, am I right?
Don't ask Chris Barrett.
That's why I asked Michael Turner as well. became because of politics. See, okay, thanks, Chris Barrett, asshole. I'm just saying, and I'm telling you for real now, like Austin versus The Rock. Either one of those guys could win, and you'd be like, wow.
And then the main event of that was the ROH women, Mercedes Martinez
versus Yana Purrazzo. Who won that match?
Mercedes.
Did she?
Yeah, Mercedes is the undisputed champion.
Well, I'm glad to hear it because I like Mercedes Martinez. We got to meet her in Winston-Salem, and she was awesome. So
the Rampage, my favorite part, as always.
I want you to read the screen real quick. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead. Rampage.
First time for everything. And like my dad used to say, the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while.
Yeah, not even close, brother.
Yes.
That's it. I'm counting you out. 1.
Give 2 shits.
2.
And you know this.
3. Get back in the ring, Tino. 4.
Wow, we know each other 20 years, and you know I give about 0 fucks.
You're disqualified. You're out. Sending you to the back.
They may not know this, but you know I give 0 fucks.
Yeah, but you forget that I actually can just turn you off the screen.
And I'll go to bed. It really won't hurt my feelings. I'll turn on Dadgum NXT. Like, oh, show's over.
So all right, so Rampage. There's only one thing to really talk about there.
Baker Hayter and Soho and Storm.
No, that's not what. Okay, but you can talk about that. But there's only.
No, I'm
one
just saying there were some good ones. I mean, the Hook thing, yeah, but then you had Yoka Suzuki against Rio, which Rio came out in all black. I don't know what was going on with that.
Wait. Was that the woman that like Jason likes and nobody else does?
No, I thought that was Oscar's grandma too, and it wasn't.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Oscar's grandma.
There's a couple. Okay, so the 2 main things I do want to talk about: the hook moment to the side.
To the side. So you want to talk about Ruby Riot and
no, to the side.
Soho, sorry.
To the side. I want to talk about I think they're about to turn your boy Scorpio Sky face.
Oh, they already did.
Because he's starting to turn on his team.
Yeah.
When he looked at Dan Lambert and told him pretty much you need to take that belt off and put it back in the case, I'm like, oh. So do they have him go against Ethan Page first? Or what do you think happens?
Well, he obviously has the match against Frankie Kazarian this coming week, right?
Yes.
So, great question, by the way. And having heard how that speech went, first of all, it was very awkward. And you want to know why they're turning Scorpio Sky babyface all of a sudden?
Yeah.
It's because Sammy Guevara with Tay Conti like completely are getting the wrong reaction.
Because they're supposed to be the face.
And they are now straight up heel. Right? Like, and of course it's because you know that Tay Conti, as hot as she is, all she ever does is sit there and go, "You bitch."
But why can't they just turn his whole team face? Because you've got Lambert, who I hate him.
So I'll tell you why.
I'm not saying he's a Paul Heyman, but he's a good, strong promo. And he could be.
Well, he's a great promo, but he's a great
face or
heel promo.
You don't think he'd be a great face promo?
I don't.
He doesn't even have to change. I don't think he'd have to change his promo style. He can still be talking that shit as a face manager.
I see. This is where I think you're wrong right now. Do I think that at some point he could be? Sure. I think right now what they're realizing is that they can get 2 people over at the same time. Because right now, like Dan Lambert is more over than Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you sit there and you have Scorpio Sky sit there and tell Dan Lambert that he needs to put that belt back in the cage and everything else. And all of a sudden, like, Dan Lambert sitting there going, you can't talk to me like that. I'm your fucking manager. Like, I'm the guy who got you that belt, right? Well, then you have Frankie Kazarian, consummate babyface right now, the elder statesman, whatever you want to call him. And he's sitting there going, hey, man, I let you go do what you're going to do. You won that title, but remember, back when I said I would let you go do that,
Yes.
you told me you win that belt, you give me the first shot, right?
Yes.
Great. Awesome. Really good storytelling there. Ethan Page doesn't like hearing that because now all of a sudden, like, it's like, oh, we just go ahead and give anybody who's got a 500 record a fucking title match. What the fuck's wrong with you? So you know what's going to happen is Scorpio and Frankie are going to have a banger of a match because Frankie does that. Scorpio should win the match.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I expect Ethan Page to go up and beat him down. And what it's going to do.
I'm wondering too.
Do you not agree with that?
Yes, I agree. So, yeah, I agree with that part. But I'm wondering if Ethan has someone to help them. So do you think they'll bring the SCU back, or you think they'll just kind of, you know what I mean? They want Scorpio to have this singles run.
That's exactly what this is leading to. It may be a smaller version of SCU. I don't know if Christopher Daniels wants to continue wrestling or what the deal is. I would anticipate that this may be the real return of SCU, you know, but remember the last time we saw SCU, they were all heels, and it was, this is the worst town we've ever been to, you know, whereas now, like, Scorpio's like Frankie's gonna make the save on Scorpio.
Yes.
Like, it's obvious. It is wrestling storyline telling 101. It is my boy is getting beat down by someone else, even though he just beat me in a match. I'm going to sit there and be the bigger man. And
Shawn Michaels getting his ass whooped and Triple H coming down.
Yeah, probably more like the other way around. Triple H getting his ass kicked. And even after Shawn Michaels got beat by Triple H, Shawn Michaels comes back down to the ring to make the save. And you know, I'll admit, Shawn Michaels is easily the bigger star.
Yes.
Out of those two. But, like, at that point in their career where that type of thing would have happened, Triple H was at the top of the game, and Michaels was, like, taking the back seat and doing whatever. You know what I mean?
He's still getting more pops than Triple H even.
He's still getting more pops today.
Yeah.
And that's even after we know that Triple H can make, like, buttered popcorn with his chest, you know, with the defibrillator and everything. But and no offense meant by that, you know, just a joke. But I mean, all things considered, I think that this is meant to elevate both Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky to that next level. And we already know that Scorpio Sky has been doing the things to get himself to the next level. People like Chris Jericho have seen it since the very beginning of AEW.
Yes.
The thing that they did not anticipate here was that Sammy Guevara would be a heel.
And I don't even know.
I'm going to tell you the number one reason why he's a heel.
Why? But the fans should. I mean, they were cheering him one week, and the next week he was. Do you think they were pushing him down one of those things? Why turn on Kate? But what does she do? I mean, but how?
Hold on.
I don't know I don't know where it went wrong.
She didn't do anything, Tino. This legitimately is okay. Look at you and me.
Right?
We're normal dudes. Look at Sammy Guevara. Calls himself the fucking Spanish god.
Right.
Suddenly, he was with a woman who was normal, broke up with her to be with a Brazilian bombshell. Right?
Okay.
Normal guys. You're average pro wrestling watcher, they see a guy who is attractive suddenly dump a regular woman, which made him a normal guy, for a bombshell. And what's everybody think? That guy's an asshole. And let's be real. When he dumped Pam, or whatever her name was, I think it was Pam. When he asked Pam to marry him on AEW television, we were all like, oh, look at that guy, his high school sweetheart, right? 6 months later, we're being told, okay, he broke up with Pam. There's not any reason behind it. And a week later, he's in pictures smooching on Tay Conti.
I don't know if that's it.
Dude, it totally is it. People are going to turn on you because you're an asshole. And let's be real. You left your high school sweetheart, who has been with you through everything, including when you sat there and said that you'd have sex with Sasha Banks' dead body. And now you dump her for a bombshell. Yeah, we're all going to turn on it. And the way that they've acted since they turned on it, since that happened, as soon as he sat there and said, Dan Lambert, the things that we did with that belt, trust me, like that, like they didn't want it to be a heel move, but somebody should have told them, hey, bro, that's a really heel fucking thing you're doing to that title. It just is.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far either. But how about this one? I mean, she was. We don't know the inner workings of it or anything else, but we do know that the timeline behind it was very suspect, and we talked about it on this show. So I that's just it. Is that the fans turned on Sammy because Sammy was no longer protected by Jericho. He was no longer protected by the inner circle. And when they put him with Tay, he should have known better, dude. Like, he knew he was going heel. Now, it's up to him to embrace it. And it's up to her to embrace it. And I can tell you right now, we've been wondering what's that thing that is going to take Tay Conti to the next level of the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
And being a bitch and being like in this moment where it's like a power couple, very well could do it. I would love to see a babyface Adam Cole and Britt Baker, and I know that we're a ways away from that, right? But a babyface Adam Cole and Britt Baker going up against Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti as heels would be money.
Tay is not.
You got to build her right.
Britt Baker, in ring wise, is like years ahead of Tay as well.
You know what though? We've proven over time that it doesn't matter how good they are in the ring as long as the build up and most of the delivery is there.
Yeah,
and what I mean by that, hold on. What I mean by that is look at Bryan Danielson and Brie Bella versus The Miz and Maurice. Look at Edge and Beth Phoenix versus The Miz and Maurice. Now, granted, I'm going to tell you, The Miz and Maurice is so good as a heel non-wrestler,
yes,
that when you finally get her in the ring, all you want to do is see her get beat down.
That's
However,
true.
how often do they lose those matches?
They lost to Edge and Beth.
They did, but they did beat Bryan Danielson and Brie Bella.
Was it Brian and B or John and? No, it was Brian and Brie.
Yeah.
So I
So
thought
think about
didn't
that.
Cena and Nikki fight Maurice? They did a mixed tag with somebody too, didn't they?
So I remember specifically that they kept doing like the behind the scenes stuff, and the Miz was dressed up as both Bryan Danielson and John Cena, and Maurice
Oh, my favorite one is when they were sitting at the table, and he was like on his knees when he was Bryan Daniels. Oh, those were classic. I need to go back and find those on YouTube. Those were classic.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. They really were. They were excellent, excellent. And you know that it's because like the Miz, John Cena, and Bryan Danielson, whomever, all had carte blanche to sit there and tell the writing team what they were going to do. That's just how it is. Hey, one other thing I want to talk about before we actually continue on with Rampage is and we'll go ahead and we'll put something else up there so we can talk about it. Is Young Rock?
I haven't caught up yet, so don't spoil it. And I know you've already been cussed out about spoilers as well. So
what wasn't a spoiler. Wasn't a spoiler. It was an Easter egg. There's a difference, motherfuckers. But what episode have you seen up to?
I have to go look. Keep talking. I'm gonna find it. It's on Peacock, right?
Yes.
Okay, keep talking. I'm gonna see.
So did you see the one where Dwayne had his first match?
No.
Okay. Did you see the one where Dwayne actually was training for his first match?
I think I left off at the one before that.
I don't even know what that is.
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. Shut up. I just want to see the episodes, dude. I saw episode 24, and that was.
You saw the one where Andre was giving him life lessons on love.
I saw that one. Hold on. This one, I can tell you as soon as it starts, I can tell you which one this one is. In the dark?
Use the word.
The last one I saw was the one where his high school nemesis was trying to kill him on social media. They kept talking shit about him on social media.
So when Frodo.
Yeah.
When Frodo, okay. So
That's
they had the ladder match in that one.
Yeah,
like
that's
the
the
school ladder match, and he stole the ladder from. Okay,
the janitor.
so you haven't seen the one where he actually is in the WWE locker room for the first time.
No, and I need to go back. I might watch those tonight instead of NXT.
All right, so I'm gonna ruin a little bit, but not anything big time. And it's not about that one. It's actually about when The Rock was actually training. Okay.
All right.
So there's an episode there where Dewey actually, first of all, his mom finally explains to him why his nickname was Dewey. And I'm not going to tell anybody why, but he goes, "That's why you call me Dewey," and she's like, "It's so cute," and it's like, but it wasn't really cute, you know. And we would all hate that moment because, you know, as guys, we absolutely hate that moment where like we find out why our mom nicknamed us something and we're like, oh, Dwayne and Dewey just makes sense. No, it doesn't. But
okay.
But Rocky Johnson does not want to train Dwayne. He doesn't want to. And one of the moments when he finally says okay to it. And he basically says, you're gonna do as I say, you're gonna listen, and it's not gonna be easy on you and everything else. And there's this one moment in that episode where Rocky Johnson goes and sits as far away from the ring that they're practicing in, which is a boxing ring. It's not even a wrestling ring. But he goes and he sits as far away as he possibly can. And Dwayne's like, why are you sitting so far away? And he goes, because right now I'm the guy that couldn't pay for that front row ticket. And you need to connect with me all the way out here in the back row. Because if you can connect with me in the back row, then you're going to make it.
Wow.
And
well, that's I've heard that over the years. Different wrestlers say you've got to. That's why they're so animated and extra, because they want to make sure that person in the nosebleeds can see and know what's going on.
But you know, I listen to Busted Open, and I don't listen to it as often as I did because I just don't have time to. But I listened to it like the day after that episode happened, and Tommy Dreamer was talking about it. Tommy Dreamer was interviewing Mickie James, and Tommy brought up that moment in Young Rock, and he goes, I can't explain to people. He says, you mean the pebble? Yeah, exactly, the pebble. He goes, I can't explain to you how much that moment in that show meant, because that is so true, that if you can't connect with the person in the back row that couldn't pay for, the top dollar ticket, like, why are you even doing this? And Tommy Dreamer actually got like emotional talking about it. And when you think about it, it's because Tommy Dreamer, I mean, he's 50 years old. He's done everything in the business except win like the top title in the entire industry, right? But at the same time, I mean, he's run shows, he's built brands, he's done everything he possibly can, and that meant everything to him to hear that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like I said, I've heard bits and like I said, I've heard people say that before. So that wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, now I do want to talk back about Rampage. I want to talk about Hookhausen. Mark Sterling basically sits there and he says he's going to sue Danhausen. and Danhausen sits there and says, well, if he's going to do that to Danhausen, why don't you come into Dan?
Really?
He's mad at me because I'm saying hi.
Yeah, because
no,
we don't. You've got 20 minutes left, dude, and I'm gonna have to call it today. I don't like going late.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey.
Tell me a story about the Oxford comma.
Tino, well, he might shoot me.
I'm telling you, dude. You think I'm playing 10 o'clock? I'm like, well, good night, folks.
But that's fine. We get off here at 10 o'clock.
All right. So I don't remember him saying he was going to sue Danhausen. I remember he went in the ring.
And it's all over the internet.
And he was going to, he left, he had gift wrapped, what was it, a bag of like Tris, or what were those?
So Hook sat there and just stared at Danhausen when Danhausen was like, how about you're in Danhausen's corner? And Hook just kind of like pushed him down. And then Danhausen like drops out a bag of chips with like a bow on it. because Danhausen believes that Hook gets his ability to not be cursed by him from the chips that he eats. Dude, you realize they're going to end up being tag team champions at this rate.
Champions? Well,
at this rate, they're going to be tag champs.
But that might be because
I mean, they're the RK Bro of AEW.
Well, because I think Jurassic Express will probably be dropping the belt soon. Because did you see Jungle Boy beat the living piss out of your boy Ricky Starks?
Yes. Yes, I did.
So does this, and he's going to be fighting for the FTW championship. And I think they're supposed to be facing Starks and Hobbs for the tag team champions. So you think we'd get a switcheroo? Hobbs and Starks will get the tag team champs, and Jungle Boy will get the FTW belt.
No, I think that just at some point they'll force Jungle Boy to do 2 matches in a night, and it'll be too much for the tag team champions. I could be wrong. They could pull the old switcheroo, and that wouldn't be a bad story. So I appreciate you saying that. I just think that specifically, I think they're gonna lead to Danhausen and Hook being tag team champions right now. It just, I mean,
and I don't see them giving Hobbs and Starks the belts right now unless they plan on giving it to Swerve and Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, sure. And if Swerve and Keith Lee win those belts, it's not going to Danhausen and Hook.
No.
So good point on that, and I agree. I don't really have anything from SmackDown. I tried to watch SmackDown, and the only thing that I gathered from that was that Sami Zayn started doing this thing where, like, he was like, "Hey, Paul, I'm gonna do this for you," and
he's turning into the snitch for the bloodline. Could you see him? He's backstage, like hiding behind a trailer, watching people getting interviewed, and then he goes run back. I don't want to start anything, but I'm the leader of the locker room, so I hear things. And I don't want you to worry. I'm like, oh God.
But I do want to talk about this. One, I absolutely hate the name WrestleMania Backlash.
Why can't it just be Backlash like it was? Why?
So
Why?
I think you and I talked about this last year when it was, and it was right after Peacock bought the WWE network in the United States, right? So it was one of those things where it just made sense to really drive home these premier online events or premier streaming events or whatever the hell they fucking call them now, which is what they called this. And if you notice, they didn't call it a pay-per-view for like the first time. They called it a premium streaming event.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about it because, like, we all joked.
I'm getting the results. So keep talking. I'm just looking for the results.
We all joked that upon Cody Rhodes coming back to the WWE. Now, did you watch his Broken Skull session?
That is on my to watch list too. I'll probably watch that tomorrow.
Okay, I don't want to ruin anything from that, but there is one specific statement, so I hope you're okay with me spoiling something for you. No?
I mean, you can't help yourself. So.
I can. It's just like you keep saying, "Oh, you didn't watch this." Well, you didn't watch that, and it's been out since Friday. But
well, that doesn't pertain to the show as much. NXT, Dynamite, actual wrestling shows that we talk about.
Okay, my point though with that is it's specific to something that I said was why Cody Rhodes would come back. Okay. Why did I say Cody Rhodes would come back? What was the one thing that was missing?
I don't remember.
They even said it the very first night after WrestleMania.
He wants the world title. He never got a world title.
Correct. Right. So when he's sitting there with Steve Austin has that
Picture.
No, he's got the Eagle belt hanging. And
Cody said, yeah, I heard that he said he wants to bring that. If he won the championship, he wants to bring that belt back.
Well, so that's even something that they talk about, because when he won his first championship in WWE, it was the Intercontinental Championship, and they brought back the original Intercontinental Championship.
I also read or heard somewhere too, the reason why they probably won't bring back the wing belt is because of the design that they have now has the big logo on the front. And so that's just marketing. So when like a sports team wins like the World Series or the Super Bowl, they send them a belt because it has that logo on it. And of course, they're gonna put it up on TV. Right?
You're absolutely right, and yes, that is the main thing. What Cody actually alluded to in that is that when he did win that Intercontinental belt, and they actually said okay to him bringing back the original, that they said, "Are you sure you want to do that? Because if we design one for you, you get all the merchandising money from that." And he was just like, I don't even care about that. I just want that belt because I want the original because that's what I grew up watching. And, you know, obviously now, like 30-something-year-old Cody sitting there like, yeah, I probably want that money. I mean, let's be real, right? We would all sit there and say that. But he absolutely admitted to the one reason why he came back to WWE is the exact reason that we all should have believed it, which is that WWE championship still means more than any other world championship in pro wrestling. And
it's been said time and time again. And Stone Cold is one that he says it all the time. If you're not in this business to be the champion, what the hell are you doing it for?
But see, so at this point, Kenny Omega, who's never been WWE champion, probably thinks that the AEW championship means just as much.
No.
And you and I sit here and we talk about this all the time. Our Facebook group sits there and tries to tell us that the WWE championship is not the biggest championship in the business.
It is.
Ooh, the Canes won, by the way. Carolina Hurricanes up 3-2.
Sweet. The WWE is Hollywood. WWE is Broadway. WWE is the Super Bowl. You know, it's the big time.
It's $4 billion. whereas Tony Khan has built a pretty good playground of hundreds of millions of dollars, but the WWE is $4 billion.
And not saying that AEW won't ever get there, but they're just not there yet. I agree.
Well, and here's what's weird about that. Chris Barrett, I believe, is a Northerner. Obviously, Tino, you're a Southerner. I'm a Northerner, so like the NWA World Heavyweight Championship never meant anything to me.
That was every. Like I said, I grew up on NWA.
I grew up on Winged Eagle, baby. Winged Eagle.
Flair, Wahoo McDaniel, Dusty, the Legion of Doom, Magnum TA. That NWA was it.
And you know, interestingly enough, when Ric Flair threw that championship down because he won the WWE championship, like,
but that was the WCW belt he threw down, wasn't it? I don't think he threw down.
I think back then it was still called the NWA belt because that was like 1993.
I have to look that up. I'm not sure though.
You know, it wasn't like Medusa being paid to drop the WWE Women's Championship that nobody cared about. Even
that one that Flair threw down, the one when I think NWA, I think of the one that's in NWA that all this is holding.
I'm gonna tell Chris Barrett, you shut your whore mouth.
Oh no.
Right there. Y'all mean Whalers. Yes, I do mean the Hartford Whalers, but I mean what they've become since they've actually been able to win a world championship.
My wife's mocking you now. He said, shut your whore mouth. She said, damn, shut your whore mouth.
I can say that to Chris Barrett. He probably enjoys it. But So I do want to talk about the pay-per-view real quick. WrestleMania Backlash. The joke. So this is where I was going with the joke on this is that in our Facebook group, we all like people sat there and said when Cody Rhodes signed back with WWE, he'd be curtain jerking before too long. And honest to God,
first match of the night,
his second pay-per-view, he was the first match of the night. But I'm going to tell you, Tino, it was a fucking good ass match.
That was a banging match.
It was a banger, dude. It was a banger. Those guys put everything into it. And what what really made it worthwhile for me?
That heelish move he did at the end.
No. No, I did not like that actually. I felt that was a bullshit thing.
Well, I think he did it. If you look right before he did it,
well, Seth did it too.
Rollins grabbed the
Yeah,
tights.
yeah.
He reversed it and he grabbed the tights.
But see, if he's supposed to be your top or second top baby face, he shouldn't be doing that in his second major match back. Okay, that should be is he going heel? Is he not going and we don't want that with Cody right now in WWE, right? Isn't it amazing how far Cody's come just in 4 months of being everybody hated him in AEW to all of a sudden everybody is cheering him in WWE.
Check out Chris Barrett. And
check out Chris Barrett. Chris Barrett.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's one
Oh
thing.
yeah. No, absolutely. You want to be Detroit Rock City, or you want to be you shook me all night long. But the reminder here is that when you're on one of these events, you don't have multiple main events. You've got the main event, which you knew was going to be RK McBro versus the Bloodline,
which I'm still not happy about that at all.
Well, we knew who was going to win, right?
No, I wanted to see that motherfucking unification match is what they've been promising.
Well, and now they're promising it again. And you want to know why I think they stopped it? I don't think it's got anything to do with the two networks sitting there saying that they only want one champion and all this other bullshit. I literally think it's because Roman Reigns is hurt and he's only got so much time in the ring right now that he can get away with. So I think they're protecting him.
I wonder if it has anything to do with that contract he just signed.
No, I don't think so.
I'm mad about that too, because we're right back to what was my main and on this show, what was my major complaint when Brock Lesnar was champion?
He's never on TV.
Huh?
Never on TV.
And they're getting ready to do that with Roman Reigns. I think his new contract, I think he's got 2 pay-per-views in the contract, and most of the summer he's out.
No, is he going to get time off? Yes, but I would anticipate that his contract's more like what Edge's contract is, which is he's going to show up on TV, he's going to make those statements, but he's not going to do house shows, man. Like why? House shows don't make any money for WWE anymore. The only reason why they do them is because they've always been a carny company. You know, that's the only reason why they still do them. This is to extend guys' careers. Like Roman Reigns is 36 years old, and they want him under WWE contract till he's 50.
We'll see. I just want to see how they're going to handle the defending of the belt, or how much longer they're going to let him keep the belt. They even made a comment. What was it? It was Sunday. Said, "Can you believe he's been champion?" What they say, over a year?
Well, it's been 700 days almost. It's almost 2 years. The SummerSlam will be 2. Well, I guess the month after SummerSlam will be 2 years, right? And the question is whether or not they actually keep the belt on him, or do they bring Brock back at SummerSlam? They have Brock beat him at SummerSlam, and then Brock loses to somebody else because that Brock's willing to do the job right now. The other question there is, if they're going to have somebody beat Roman Reigns, are they doing it to build up the next big thing?
No, because I think right now what they're looking at is McIntyre.
And McIntyre's worthy of the championship. Don't get me wrong. He got screwed the 2 times he had the belt because there were no fans in the stands. The only other guy that I look at and I go, this guy could actually be a champion and go up against Roman Reigns and actually put a legit stomping on him is Bobby Lashley. And you know, like I was asking Terrence earlier tonight about that, and Terrence was actually saying that they did face each other, but they faced each other back when like Leo Rush was still Lashley's manager, not MVP or anything else. So I think that where Lashley is today, now being a 2-time WWE champion, he could beat him. Now, granted, you'd still want to put him on a winning streak where he's just a monster for a while, because he should be more than a Brock Lesnar wannabe, right?
So I can't think of anybody else right now.
Well, Randy Orton could beat him. You know, like if you played it up correctly, Randy Orton could beat him. Hell, I'd love to see Matt Riddle beat him. Them actually sitting there going, hey, Riddle has like the MMA experience and blah blah blah, and then sneaking out with a victory and having Randy Orton protect him when the Usos try to, you know, like cause the distract. Like, I would love that, because you know that right now Randy Orton would actually like stand behind him.
Yeah.
You know, now Randy would also be like, Riddle, you know, I watched behind your back. It's time for you to go ahead and pay the piper. How about you give the Viper his due? You know, I want to be a 17-time world champion, you know, like, and of course, bro, you know, you like I loved when he sat there on Monday night and he's like, well, Randy's just going to bring Randy because that's Randy, you know, like, he's like, I'm going to bring my scooter. I'm going to do this, but Randy's just going to bring Randy. And you're like, okay, fair enough, you know. Anyways, I know you want to get going.
No, we got a couple more. I want to finish off this card.
So I do want to finish off the card. We had Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey in a I Quit match.
It was brutal. The best part was the end where she had her in the chair and she's like, what did she say? Did she say no? I don't think so, bitch. Just went in her arm like, oh my God.
Now, did you see the Twitter about that where the guy was like, Charlotte Flair's the first person to tap out when her arm was actually being protected in our bar?
Yes.
and her arm was twisted the correct direction. Like wow.
Yeah, it was still a decent match. I think what was somebody said earlier, Rhea.
It was a brutal match. It was a brutal match. I all things considered, I mean, like Charlotte started crying at one point during that match because she got hit hard.
Yeah, and now they're supposedly she's hurt, but she's getting ready to get married to Andrade, so she's getting ready to take some time off. That's why she dropped the belt.
Yep. So there was that.
Rhea Ripley. We called that.
Yeah. That. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do to make sure that stays as a good thing, because like you can only go so far having her beat Liv Morgan every week.
I think they're probably they might try to add another like Ciampa, and he might try to get all the belts, which would be stupid. But I can see Rhea going for the title.
I'm so when you sit there and you say that Ciampa might join this group, I think you're right. I think that Ciampa joining this group actually makes a lot of sense. At the same time, I think Finn Balor leaving AJ makes a lot of sense. But I don't want to see it initially. I want to see it after a couple matches of frustration with Finn Balor, and then him snapping on AJ, and then joining them.
And becoming the Demon full time. No,
I you know what? If he comes out every week as the Demon, I'm okay with that.
I can almost see, because we're talking about how old these guys are, I can almost see Edge kind of starting this group and kind of having a managerial role, but still wrestle sometimes. But I think leaning back and let the younger guys go.
I think you're right. at the same time, I also think that it's about trying to make sure that Edge has those big moments that's going to bring those other characters up to that level. And obviously, if you're going up against Ed or AJ Styles and Finn Balor on a weekly basis, you're going to do that.
So they need to do that with Rhea. So they need to figure out
the female that's going to go against her.
And now that they brought, would have been perfect? Now that they brought Alexa back, if Alexa would have came back and kind of kept that. Because if you notice Monday when she came out, it wasn't the original Alexa Bliss. It was still the Alexa, the video wall still had her in the makeup, and she still came out with Lily. So I'm almost wondering if they're going to try to keep a darker side to Alexa. You know what I mean? Like she can bring it when she needs to.
I don't know why my phone just had an alarm go off at 10 o'clock. That's just weird. If Alexa was the one that was joining Edge, it would make sense. But the truth behind the Alexa character right now is that I think that they know that if Alexa's a babyface and she has a doll, the doll is going to sell, right? So it's just like if you put a championship that's an exclusive championship on somebody, it's going to be something that gains sales. And I
was trying to figure it out. Like I said, the whole entrance and the video wall, it still has that dark.
Well, and it's probably because they're just trying to say that it's an amalgam of all of that, right? So it's just something that has led to that. And I mean, I could be completely off. Like next week, they could just be like, "Oh, we're gonna do the playground again," whatever. But I don't think so. I think they reintroduced her the way that they did because they know they don't have Charlotte for a while, so they're gonna reintroduce her as because one was the queen, one was the goddess, right? So,
and then the dark thing came. The playground.
Now, I don't know if you saw recently on Alexa Bliss's own TikTok and everything, but she posted how things were and how things are going, and it was a complete rhinoplasty. Like she apparently had her nose broken pretty bad, and they had to fix her.
Oh.
And her face was just a fucking raspberry.
What happened?
I don't know. I just know that I saw the picture of it and I was like, holy shit.
The only other thing I want to touch on real quick, and I want to see.
We don't talk about Kevin Sullivan here, Chris Barrett.
No. Nikki ASH. Speaking of character changes, you think they're finally going to take her out of that costume?
Don't know. I kind of like her as a heel in that costume, but
I like the crazed Nikki, that the NXT Wild Woman.
We all like that, but Vince didn't see money in it, right? Vince sees money in costumes and things like that. That's why all of a sudden Drew McIntyre carries a fucking sword. Let's not think about let's not think the way that we were thinking about things. Right now, they're looking at it as this is TV PG, so developing characters that can actually be action figures and stuff is what they're developing.
I want the kids to carry big ass swords around the school and swing at their classmates' heads. Oh, Jesus.
Anyways, other matches on the card.
Almost and Lashley.
I like how you said almost and Lashley, and I'm like Madcap Moss and
yeah, Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. Right.
Neither one of those are worth watching. So continue.
Yeah, that we hit all the good ones. We hit
the main event.
The main event was the Bloodline and Arcade Make Pro.
Yep.
I like that they kept McIntyre and Reigns. I like the part where I forget who it was. I think it was Riddle calling Reigns in, or it might have been McIntyre trying to call him in, and he's having the conversation with Heyman, and Heyman's like, "I love you. I don't think you should go in there. You don't have anything to prove." And he's trying to talk him out of tagging in. It's the little nuances that makes that whole thing just brilliant.
Every time they do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, almost all of it has to do with Paul Heyman. Kayla, are you hitting on me? You know, like just
Oh yeah.
everything that they do is just something. But I don't know. I hope that if they're going to take the belt off of Reigns, because now the rumor is that Roman Reigns is not going to be there after summer for a while.
Yeah.
If the plan is to take the belt off of him, they've got to build somebody. And it can't just be Drew, and it can't just be like Randy. Like at this point, it should be whoever wins Money in the Bank walks out of SummerSlam with the title.
I think it's going to be Cody, because you see the commercial they did Monday.
I did, and you know the thing that bugged me about that commercial was he said, "If you win Money in the Bank, you main event WrestleMania."
Yeah, I caught that too. I thought they had a year to cash that. So now they're saying you have to cash it by WrestleMania. Are you going back to that?
No, I think that the way that you're supposed to read it is that they would main event WrestleMania because they might be the champion. So
I like Chris Berry too. He said I like the part when Randy knows all the super kicks. That was where they double super kicked him. And he just looked at him and RKO'd. I'm like, really?
I mean that's Randy. He's been there 20 years. He knows that everybody's doing super kicks now. Hey,
my favorite part of Raw last night was where Montez jumped off and Riddle jumped up and caught him an RKO, and the look on Randy's face.
He was like, but you know, my favorite part of Monday Night Raw wasn't that. It was when we got the introduction of Ken Owens.
And Ezekiel's like, nice to meet you, Ken. No, don't do that.
And then, of course, it was me all along.
He goes, I don't think Kevin would appreciate you yelling. Yes, Kevin would appreciate how Kevin talks because I'm Kevin. But the best line was Ezekiel said, I think my brother Elias needs to come out and sing you a lullaby.
Why is this story even a thing?
Why is it so entertaining?
Well, because Kevin Owens and Elias actually are entertaining, right? I'm
Yes.
sorry, Ezekiel.
Yes.
The last part of that though is that like you realize that if they want to fall back into making Elias a heel, that's when he sits there and goes, "It was me all along. It was Elias," right? But otherwise, what's the fucking end game?
I don't know.
It just annoys me because there's no end game for it.
Did you see Chris Barrett's last comment? That would be hilarious. Oh God. I hadn't even heard that. I hadn't even thought of that, but that would be funny.
Oh my God. Anyways, Tino.
Yeah, I'm tapped.
I got nothing, brother.
Me neither. All right, folks. Well, you can check us out. You can check him out on the Twitter. He is at PotCheck. I am HootieFan91. You can check me out on Insta, SC Tino. He is now Rob Potsy PotCheck, right? Because you had to change your Insta.
And I have two. I have both.
Oh, and Rob PotCheck?
Yeah, I've got both.
Cool. All right.
got it back. Don't you remember the whole story?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember all your handles. He is on TikTok at Rob Potsy Podcheck. You can check the show out on Twitter, Potsy and Tino. Facebook, we're the Potsy and Tino Show. You can see us here on YouTube each and every Tuesday on the Pots and Pans Network. Please click, like, and subscribe. Or I hadn't said this yet, but buy our shit. And on that note, folks, we're out. Thinking. Ooh, yeah. Dig it. Oh, sorry. Thank you to Adam's House Cat for our theme song, the wrestling song. You can get it on iTunes for 99 cents. 99. Now I'm done. Good night.
See you, Chris Barrett. See you, Michael. See you, Joe. See
Thanks
you,
for hanging out with us, folks. You guys take care.